Ian, big news. Talk me through it.
So big that we had to come to a new film set just to talk about it. Yeah, so trademark. First trademark, actually, in just over 5 years since we started. Timing was right. There's a little something that not only do the Avocado partners use, but a lot of estate agents up and down the country have started using. And the truth is, it's ours, like we created it. And I'm all for kind of people copycatting, and I see it as a massive compliment, but this is a technique and a marketing campaign that we created. And I think because it's ours, we need to make it officially ours to protect the agents, which is ultimately my job. So #BeatThePortals is officially trademarked by Avocado, which means, no other estate agents can use it now.
So do we have to add the TM onto that?
I don't know. But when I did run it through chat, and I think someone else said this in the group, it did pop up now as the TM on the end. I'm not sure. We'll work that out, but it's exciting. And I think for us, in terms of the influence we've had on the industry, when we started, everyone was wearing suits and ties and stuff like that. And I'm not saying every agent did that, and I'm not saying we're the reason why a lot of agents don't. But a lot of them, we are the reason behind that, because they saw how the public kind of took to what we were trying to do. And the pink hoodie being the icon of a point of difference. But this particular campaign is not actually about like beating Rightmove or Zoopla. I think that's where people sometimes misunderstand it. And I think in the industry, they maybe misunderstood it as well. It was more about that kind of waiting list exclusivity. It was kind of a real nice bit of exclusivity for the buyer. And it was something that was unique for the seller as well, because it meant that they could potentially get a premium price to keep the property off market for the buyer. So it was something that we kind of created, and we felt it was being misused by the industry in places. And that's why we thought, actually, do you know what? This is one thing that is ours. We did make it, and we're going to keep it ours, so that when an agent joins Avocado, the brokerage, it is something that's a legitimate USP when they're sat in a quirky living room like this talking to a seller. And that's where it came from, really.
Absolutely, because it's really easy to say as an estate agent, we have all these USPs, we genuinely care, or we look after our clients. Anybody and everybody could say that. But I feel like with you making the decision around this trademarking, that you've kind of really put your money where your mouth is behind it.
Yeah, and we can evolve it as well now without, again, it being watered down or manipulated. Because I think if you do go onto Instagram and you search that hashtag, I mean, there are tens of thousands of those posts now, which is exciting. But what it actually means is it means as a buyer, if you follow that hashtag or you follow the Avocado socials, that you do get a legitimate exclusivity before it hits portals. That's what it ultimately came down to. So, yeah, I totally agree. We are now in a position where it is a legitimate USP, but it's also going to be used the right way. And it's not about being like anti-Rightmove or anti-Zoopla. I want to like really clear that up, because it isn't about that. It's not actually about knocking the portals off their pedestal. They do what they do. It's more about for the buyers to go, look, beat the general public. If there's a music concert, Beyonce's at the O2, no one's getting the general ticket. Everyone wants the exclusive ticket, because then you get to pick where you are, etc., etc. It's a little bit like that. And that is the way the world is going now. It's people want exclusivity. They want that waiting list. They want that on the demand. They don't want to be in the general public, which is where portal advertising for properties come in. #BeatThePortals means you can be an exclusive buyer, which is quite exciting.
Yeah, and from an agent's perspective, it's just that data, ultimately. We talk a lot within Avocado about how sort of that data is gold. And if we're trying to look after sellers by having lists of buyers, this is that way through.
Yeah. Well, if all agents have got the same list, which if you're kind of looking at corporates and the big independent chains, they probably do have 95% the same lists, because they register in that way. But what we've got here is we've got not just properties that are off market at that point to a point, they're off portals. We've actually got a lot of buyers on the list that are also off market, but for the right thing, they're enticed. And #BeatThePortals isn't just about socials. It's like there's 3 steps within it. The last step is it goes to portals, but the actual hashtag itself is the live launch, the teaser imagery, all of this to a point is on socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, wherever the agents are promoting. But then the next step, which is still beating the portals, beating the general traffic, is what goes on in our CRM. And buyers can register themselves in our CRM through a heads up link. It's called Heads Up Property Alert. So you can register yourself as a buyer, even if you just want to live on one road between 550 and 575. You can be that niche with it without an agent manipulating, adding 10%, etc., etc. And if that one property comes available, you will get notified before it goes on Rightmove, because that might be the one of 4 houses that was ever going to come available. You're not actively looking, but there's your dream home, and you can pounce on it before the portals, before the general traffic. That's how it's meant to be used. That's how we're going to use it at Avocado. Now it's trademarked, and it's a big step. It's exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing the agents, just evolve it that little bit more year on year, and us from marketing, from HQ as well, we can evolve it. We were talking about completions the other day, weren't we? So we've got some cool ideas around that. But yeah, it's exciting news. And I think, it's great for the agents. It's great for the brand. It's great for buyers and sellers. And now it can't be misused by, estate agents up and down the country as well, which nothing against them, but it's ours.
It is ours.
And now it's officially ours.
Yes.